Hey, what's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard, Ballard Sports Media. Feels like forever since I even made a video. Uh, I haven't really been live this week. I've actually been, I've been to work, and then we have the Coleman County basketball tournament at Wallace State this week with the radio station 92.1 WKUL. But I found some time this morning. I thought about it and I said, we got to get back to some team previews. And what better way to get back into it than looking at the other team, the Cal College on the other side of the state, as Bear Bryant put it. And we're gonna we're gonna look at the Auburn Tigers for 2024. This is an unbiased review or preview, I should say. Not really review. I mean, we'll kind of review what they did last year and what did they do last year in going 6-7, losing the bowl game to Maryland, 6-6 in the regular season. First year for Hugh Freeze, he gets the job done, gets them to a bowl game, which I think is pretty good. But you go under 500, 3-5 in SEC play, and you lost those last three games, and now there's a lot of heat and questions about Hugh Freeze, and of course, you had the fallout with Brian Harsin. And then Cadillac Williams came in as an interim head coach in 2022 for games like the Iron Bowl and that. I don't even remember who else they played that year. You won your first three games in 2023. Two of them were blowouts. One of them you struggled on the road with California in Berkeley, California, 14-10. Then you bounce back with a Samford victory. By the way, you beat UMass at home 59-14 in week one. Then you ended up losing four straight games, and you were winless in SEC play. And they were close games, a couple of them. Two of them were multiple score deficits. You held on against Georgia and Ole Miss at home. Texas A&M on the road at Kyle Field was 27-10, 48-14 in Baton Rouge. I look at those scores and I'm like, really? And those were LSU was okay. A&M, they fired their head coach. You lost to that. Ole Miss, you lost to. Then you went on a 3-game win streak in October, like late October, early November. Mississippi State, at Vanderbilt, at Arkansas. Some of those you could say are gimme games, but you did pretty good there. They were a good team, but you lost to New Mexico State, and everyone trolls you on the internet. 31-10 was the final score. You bounced back. You try to bounce back at least, and we have the Gravedigger play in the 88th Iron Bowl. 10 years after the Kick Six, you host an Iron Bowl. A lot of people didn't give you a really good chance in that game. You had a 98%, really a 99.9% chance on that 4th and goal from the 31 type of play. Everyone thought Alabama was done. You were going to get a victory. You were going to end up with win number 7 on the year. It didn't happen. 27-24, almost 33-24 if they had counted that pick 6, which I do think Terry and Arnold stepped out of bounds there on the play. But, I mean, it just was it was a good start to the season, but it got tougher as it went along. You kind of picked it up early November. Then you just kind of fell off your last 3 games. At least you made a bowl game, but Maryland just tore you apart. That being said, I have a lot coming back next year. Donovan Kaufman is number 5, a safety who's a senior. Austin Keys, a linebacker. Eugene Asante, who's really, really good. Caleb Burton III comes in as a sophomore. Holden Gerner. It's going to be interesting with him and Peyton Thorne in a quarterback battle this year. I can't wait to watch the Auburn A-Day game this offseason and the spring games. We'll talk about that more as we get close to it. Rivaldo Fairweather comes back as a senior. Cam Riley coming back. I could go down the list. They have guys, right? Like they have talent, but do they have the coaching with Hugh Freeze at the helm of head coach? You got Derek Nix as an offensive coordinator and running backs coach, coaching now the running backs, replacing Cadillac Williams, who honestly, I really don't know where he went. But then you got the defensive line coach Jeremy Garrett and offensive line coach Jake Thornton. Uh, you look at the defensive coordinator. Co-defensive coordinator is Charles Kelly. There's not an exact listing of the number one guy as a defensive coordinator. I don't know if somebody left and I missed that news. And if I did, I apologize. That I would assume maybe they're going to promote somebody from within. But you guys can let me know and fact check me on that in the comments below. 2024. I think you could do better. I really do. I like the guys coming back. I haven't looked too much into the transfer portal for Auburn. I would say that Peyton Thorne is going to be quarterback number one for Auburn this year. Robbie Ashford was your quarterback in 2022, and ultimately he's gone. So there's that. There was a couple of Georgia players that went for a visit back in December, which was interesting to me. I don't know if they actually brought anybody in. Honestly, I'm just going off what your roster has here for 2024. So, and you get a lot of good in-state players. You get some guys from Mississippi. You got a guy, a freshman, C.J. Johnson, from Houston, Texas, which is pretty good. You get some Georgia players. So I think the talent is there. I do think that Auburn is recruiting at a great level right now. I think they're in competition. I know they got that Perry Thompson wide receiver who's a 4-star. No, a 5-star. I'm sorry. I was thinking ahead of myself. 5-star wide receiver who almost went to Alabama. I don't know if he saw Nick Saban writing on the wall that he was retiring, and so he just went to Auburn because he wanted to stay in state. But he committed to Auburn, and I think that's a really good pickup for Hugh Freeze and the Auburn Tigers. I would say that this could be a really good year. You do have the Iron Bowl and the Deep South game on the road, but at the same time, you have other games in there, and I'm not going back through Georgia and Alabama to be like, oh well, this is what I picked, so I'm going to stick to. I'm looking at it from Auburn's perspective. What could they have? What could they lose? What could they gain? Could they win the Iron Bowl this year with a new head coach in Tuscaloosa? That's very likely. I am going to give them a loss there, just having faith in Alabama this next season, at least a little bit. I could actually see somehow them having similar records. I really like Auburn this year. Looking at their schedule, this is what they have. Let's go to the top here for a second. Alabama A&M, California Golden Bears. California, pretty decent program. Not too bad. New Mexico, I'm going to chalk those first three up as a win. Arkansas, I don't have too much faith in. I'll probably give you a win there. Oklahoma at Jordan-Hare. That's interesting. Oklahoma, probably their first road test of the season. Again, there's teams we haven't looked at their schedules yet. I like Oklahoma just as a team. I like Dylan Gabriel. I like Brent Venables. I like the guys they have on defense. I love that they're bringing that to the SEC. I think they have a lot of potential in the SEC. I'm going to have to chalk that up probably as a loss at most when I give the at most prediction. I think you're definitely losing to teams like Oklahoma. You'll lose on the road at Georgia. You get your bye week. Everyone gets 2 bye weeks because of the calendar falling the way it does. At Missouri and Kentucky is just back-to-back road games there. Not too much for them to overcome, but I don't know. Vanderbilt, get your bye week, ULM, Texas A&M, and then you get the Iron Bowl. And this right here, this SEC title, you can put an X over that. It's probably not going to happen. I'm going to give an at-most prediction of 8-4. I don't see 9 to 10 wins. I gave Alabama 9-3. So I kind of have both of the teams in my state going above 500, but not quite to the 10-win mark. I don't know about the SEC title yet. I know Georgia's probably going to make it. We don't know because we got to see how it all works out with the new scheduling and everything. It could be tough for a lot of teams. I don't think it's going to come out of the state of Alabama, though. I really don't. And for Auburn, it's going to be a challenge, but it shouldn't be too much they can't overcome. 6-6 maybe is the minimum. They get back to that again, right? I don't think they fall off. I just think that it gets a little tougher, and I just don't see you having a miracle season like you did 11 years ago or 2017 or anything like that. And if I had to give the at most what you would lose as far as these games, I'm going to say Oklahoma at home, Georgia on the road, Bama on the road, and I'll throw Texas A&M. I like Mike Elko, and he's walking into some good talent. There are some transfers that have left, but I don't think Jimbo. I think Jimbo just didn't know what he was doing, and it got to the point where they had to pull the plug on him as a head coach in Aggie Land. Mike Elko, he's the real deal. We think with Duke football for sure, but possibly for Texas A&M. I think at that point in the season they could be really, really good. I don't think Auburn is going to slip up like they did against New Mexico State. I don't think they do that this year against a team like ULM right here on the schedule. At Missouri, you could lose. Definitely. If you go 5-7 or 6-6, you're looking at some more losses like Missouri. And you're looking at who else do I have on here? Kentucky. You drop those two, you're at 6-6. But I could definitely see 8-4 as a ceiling at the top, as much as you could get for the Auburn Tigers in 2024. I love you guys. God bless you all. Thank you so much for sticking around on the channel. Let's keep growing. Let's keep grinding out content. I've just been so busy this week. We got the basketball tournament going on, and I've been really working at it with school and my actual job. So I'll try to stick around, and I mean, I'm going to stick around, but I'll try to see what I can come up with as far as more content and more schedule previews for you guys. We want to get every Power 5 team. There's still plenty of time. I mean, you still got 7 months, 6.5, maybe 9 months. No, 8. I don't know. August. You got till August, like the third week of August, because I think there is week 0 this year. We'll try to get the Power 5 teams. We'll keep it going. I love you guys. God bless. And we'll see you next time. Peace.